In this video I'm going to show you how to create a simple responsive web page using a bit of HTML and CSS coding. Basically we've got this Maroon 5 web page here that just advertised a little bit about one of their latest albums, and being responsive, it means it will change size or adjust its size depending on which device users are using to view the web page. So this is the desktop view of the web page, and as I make my web browser smaller, you'll notice a few things change. You'll notice that the picture jumps position and that the title will get a little bit smaller when I get to the size of a tablet, which is about, I'm getting close to it, there. You'll notice the picture jumped into the middle there. Okay, so it's no longer got the text wrapping around it, and you would have also noticed that this heading got a little bit smaller. When we go even smaller again, down to the mobile phone size, I'll just keep dragging this down, you'll notice the heading change size right there. So we're now at the mobile phone size, and again the picture's got even smaller. Okay, so I haven't changed the website or web page a lot as we adjust its size, but just enough to make it easily readable across all different devices. Okay, so let's get started on making this web page. First thing you're going to need to do is go into your account and make a new folder. I've just called mine Maroon 5 album. Inside of that, you're going to need a copy of the blank HTML document that I've supplied you. It's basically got all the information you need to get this website made. It'll just save you typing it up yourself. And you've also got an images folder. Inside of that images folder, there should be just one picture of the Maroon 5 album cover. Alrighty, so time to get started. We'll pop on over to brackets and open this file up. Okay, so this is the blank file. When you open it, it's got all the information you need, so you don't even have to really type any of that up at all. You just have to put in the HTML tags. Before you start typing, I want you to save it with a different file name. Okay, so I should go into the same folder that the blank HTML file is, but just give it a different name. So I might just call it maroon5.html and click on save. So we're now ready to start making our web page. Okay, so I'm just going to press enter a few times to push that text down. I'm going to start at the top of my page today with the doc type tag like usual. Oops, I forgot the exclamation mark at the start. So doc type HTML just tells the computer we're making a HTML document or a web page. Then we're going to open up our first set of tags, the HTML tags. Inside the HTML tags, we'll open up our head section as usual and throw in a title, which is going to say Maroon 5 dash, and then do the letter V, which basically stands for the number 5 in Roman numerals. That's the name of their album. That'll do for the head section for the moment. We're going to come back a bit later and link up a style sheet, but not just yet. We want to get some of this body section done. Okay, so in the body section we can cut and paste all this information here. So all the remaining information, just press Ctrl X once you've got it highlighted, go in between your body tags and press Ctrl V to paste it in. You might need to highlight some of it and just press Tab and nudge it across a bit, and that's how we're looking at the moment, which is good. And the first line you see that says Maroon 5 and the letter V there, that's our header section. All I want you to do around this header section is simply add in the header tags. Okay, don't forget to remove the closing header tag by cutting it out. Press Ctrl X and paste it at the end of the line. So we've got the Maroon 5 section in between the two header tags. Okay, next we've got a few paragraphs that are going to go inside an article tag. So below the header section, stick in an article tag. You can delete the closing article tag for the moment. We'll put that back in later. And I'm just going to indent everything on the page for the moment. Okay, so inside the article we've got some paragraphs like I just said. So the first paragraph just needs a P at the start of it and a closing P tag at the end of it. Okay, and the same goes for the next few paragraphs. So copy that P and just paste it in front of all those other paragraphs. Put it in front of track listing as well, and also put it in front of this link that's going to appear down the bottom. Okay, you can then copy the closing P tag and paste it at the end of each of those paragraphs. Don't forget, Control C to copy, Control V will paste. Okay, so that's broken up our paragraphs for us. Just looking good. Next thing you might do is stick a picture in. Okay, the picture of the album cover is going to go after these paragraphs here, okay, just above track listing. So again, I'll make a new paragraph, and this time I'm just going to put in an image. So img space src equals, look in your images folder and find the v.jpg image. Don't forget to put alternate text on it as well, so put the alt tag in there, and in quotation marks just describe the picture. So I'll just write Maroon 5 V album cover, and outside the quotation marks you can close it off. So that's our image tag. It inserts the V image and has the alternate text for those people who can't see images on their web browser. Alright, down the track listing section now, we're going to put in an ordered list, which is basically numbered bullet points, just to list the tracks that are in the album. So beneath the track listing there, we're just going to put in the OL tag. Don't forget, move that closing one down below all those songs. So there's our two ordered list tags. Now each individual item inside this ordered list can be tabbed across and given LI tags or list item tags on either side of them. Okay, so to make a new bullet point or a new numbered bullet point, you've got to add these LI tags in. So it's a lot of copying and pasting. Just going to run through that list. There we go, so they're all LI tags. Don't forget you've got to close them all off as well. So a little bit annoying, but just go through copying with Control C, pasting with Control V until you've got them all as list items. So now we have an ordered list. If we save that and have a preview of how our page is looking, we can get an idea of what's happened so far. I think it's going to be looking fairly ugly. Basically, we've split up our text in paragraphs, which is good. We've got a picture in there, which is obviously way too big for the page at the moment. There's our ordered list with all the numbered bullet points. We've got a hyperlink we're going to do next at the bottom. Okay, I want to make this full screen for a moment. Right, so coming in after the ordered list here, we've got click here to buy the VCD. Basically, we want to create a hyperlink that takes people to the Maroon 5 website. So before the word click, let's put in the ahref tag. And the link is http://www.maroon5.com. Now we also want this link to open up in a brand new tab, so just put the target equals underscore blank at the end there. Don't forget to highlight that closing A tag. You just want to press Ctrl X to cut it out and put it after the word here. Okay, and that will put a hyperlink in for the words click here. So we should be able to click on the words click here to take us to maroon5.com, and it should open up in a new blank tab. Looking good. That's the end of the article section. So what I'm going to do is just close off the article. There we go. So that's closed it off. And the final thing I want to put in just below the article is a footer. And the footer is basically a copyright statement. So let's just put in copyright. To put in the copyright symbol, we have to write the and sign or the ampersand sign, write the word copy and put a semicolon. 2017 Maroon 5, and that is our footer done. So basically got all the information and most of the HTML in our document now. Okay, as I said before, it's looking pretty ugly, but you can see our hyperlink here that will take us to Maroon 5. We've got the footer, we've got everything in we need, so we've just got to style it up now using a bit of CSS coding. Now I'm not sure why, but in my readings I've been told that we need to style our web page for mobile phones first. Then we work our way up to tablets, and then we finally style it for desktop computers. Okay, so what we're going to do is go to File and New. I'm going to make a blank document here. This is going to be our style sheet. I'm going to go to File and Save As before I type anything, and I'm just going to go into my folder where I've been saving my web page. Okay, here it is, and I'm just going to call it style.css. Okay, so that's looking good. Now before we start typing in this, I just want to link my HTML document up to that style sheet. So back in the HTML document for a sec, look up the top for the head section, and below the title you just want to put in pointy brackets the word link, rel equals, and then in quotation marks write style sheet, and then do the href tag and link it to the style.css document. Okay, so that has now linked our HTML document, so this document, up with the style sheet. So any changes we make in the style sheet or any formatting changes we make, that will be applied to our HTML document. Okay, so over in the style sheet now, let's start styling this page up. Okay, the first thing I like to do is the body section. Okay, so let's write in the word body. Now it's quite simple, we do this a lot. Font-family is the first thing we change, and we put it in sans serif. Obviously that font's a lot easier to read than the normal serif font. The second thing we'll change is the font size to 1 EM, and the line height, which is basically the line spacing, we'll set to 1.5 EM. Don't forget a semicolon at the end of each of those. Save that up. Let's have a look at our preview, and you can see that our font has changed now. Okay, so off to a good start. Next thing I'm going to do is put a header across the top. Okay, you might remember back in our HTML here, we had the header that said Maroon 5 and the V. We want to style up everything inside of those header tags. Okay, so back in the style sheet, we've written in the header tag, we've opened up the curly braces. First thing we want to do on a mobile phone, we just want to change its size, make it a little bit bigger. So we'll make it 2 EM, that's double its normal size. We're also going to put a bit of padding around that, so we'll make it 20 pixels of padding. We might push the text into the center of the page, so we'll just do text align as center. The font weight, we can make things bolder if we want, so we can change the font weight to be bold or bolder. I'm going to choose bolder. We're going to put a background color on our header section, so it's going to be a big strip of color across the top of the page. So the background is going to be black, and the color of the text, all we need to do there is write color and write white. Okay, I'm just going to have white text for the header. When I press Ctrl S to save that, let's have a quick squeeze at how that's looking. There we go, we've got the black strip with the white text. It's centered, it's double its normal size, and it's a little bit bolder as well. It's also got 20 pixels of padding on either side as well, so the top, bottom, left and right, so a little bit of extra space around it as well, so a bit of room to breathe. That's looking good. Next thing we're going to style up is the footer. It's going to look somewhat similar, I guess. So first thing we're going to change is the font size, and we're just going to drop it down to 3/4 of its usual size, so 0.75 EM. I'm going to change the font style to italic, so that just puts a bit of a slant on the text. We're going to center it, so text-align as center. Again, the background we're going to set to black, and the color of the text we're going to set to white. Okay, again, don't forget your semicolons at the end of each line of text there. Save it up. Let's have a preview. So down the bottom we've got our footer. It's black, centered, italic, and a little bit smaller. What I'm going to do is make this a bit smaller into the mobile phone format so we can keep an eye on how it's looking. Okay, so the top looks quite good. It's the image that we're having a few issues with because it's way too big. I have to actually scroll across at the moment to see that. And we don't want to do that horizontal scrolling. It's not meant to do that in web pages. So what we're going to do is style up the IMG, or the image tag. And the way we do that, just write the IMG tag in, open up the curly braces, and we're going to change its max width. The maximum width I want this to go is 85% of the page. Okay, so just write that in. The height, we're just going to let the computer adjust that itself, so we'll just make the height and set it to auto. It will automatically adjust the height depending on what the width is. So if we save that now and have a preview, you can see the picture is a lot smaller and it fits in the screen. There's no more of that horizontal scrolling, which is looking good. The other thing I want to do though is put it in the center of the page. It's a little bit lopsided at the moment as it's hugging the left side of the page, and it's got this bigger white gap on the right side of the page. So to get the image centered, we actually have to go back to our HTML first. Okay, and we need to give this paragraph a class name. So here's our image just here. We need to go inside the P tag at the start. And we just need to write class equals, and in quotation marks, come up with a name. So I'm just going to write the word image. It can be any word, but I'm going to use that word because it best describes this section. It's the image section, or the paragraph the image is in. Now that we've given that a class name, we can save that and then go back to our style sheet I'm at the bottom now. I'm just going to write .image. And what I'm going to style up is just that paragraph that has the class name .image. It's not going to affect any other paragraphs. Okay, and all we want to do is just center align that picture the same way we center align text. So all we need to do is write the text align, center, piece of code. And that should center our picture in the middle of the page, which it has done. Okay, you can see a blue border around that at the moment, but that's just brackets showing me which bit I'm editing at the minute. So that's looking good, the top's looking good, text looks good, picture's in a nice position. What I might do next, I might work on this track listing, make this a bit more of an appropriate subheader. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just pop back to my HTML document again. Here's the paragraph here around track listing. I want to style that paragraph up, so I'm going to give it a class name as well. Okay, so class equals, and I'll call this one tracks. Alright, so once we've got a class name for that track listing paragraph, save it by pressing Ctrl S, then go back to the style sheet, and we're simply going to write .tracks. Now we're styling up the tracks paragraph and not affecting any other paragraphs. Okay. What I want to do is I want to change the color to red. I want to have the font weight set to bold. And I might put it in uppercase as well. So I'll do text-transform and set it to uppercase. Let's save that and have a look and make sure that's looking alright. Yeah, there we go. So that's looking good. So that's a pretty good looking mobile website, I think. So what I'm going to do now is start working on the next section, which is the tablet section. Before I do, I might put in some comments so I know which section I'm working on. So back up the top of my style sheet, I'm going to write in a comment, or it's just a bit of writing that the computer won't actually read as programming language. It's just a helpful line of text that tells people what's going on in the code below. So you need to put a / and an asterisk to start a comment, and then you just write what your comment is. So I'm just going to write mobile phone formatting. Then I'm just going to press the asterisk and do another / to close that comment off. And you'll notice that it grays it out. That just shows the computer's not going to read that line of text. It's not code, it's just simple, plain English that explains what's happening below. So below this is the mobile phone formatting, or the code that styles up the mobile phone web page. Okay, right at the bottom we're going to add in another comment, and this time we're going to write tablet formatting. So the code that's coming next is the formatting for a tablet. So what we're going to do to create a slightly different looking page is use something called a media query. And the way we write a media query is by typing in the @ symbol first and writing the word media and space screen and in brackets we're going to write the words min-width and a colon 480 pixels. Okay, then we're going to go down and open up a curly brace and then close a curly brace. So basically this line of text is saying when our screen is 480 pixels or larger, we need to write down what changes we need to make to our screen. Okay, mobile phone screens are generally 480 pixels or a little bit smaller. Okay, so anything that's 480 pixels or smaller will have this formatting on it. Okay, I've already written that in. Okay, anything larger than that's going to have this formatting as well, but we can slightly tweak some of this stuff up here. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is change the size of the header. At the moment, when our screen size is 480 pixels or smaller, the font size is 2EM. Okay, I want to make it slightly larger. So what I'm going to do, inside this tablet formatting section, I'm just going to press enter a few more times so it's easier to see. Inside these curly braces, I'm going to write the word header again. Okay, because I want to adjust my header. I'll have to open up more curly braces, and I'm just going to write font dash size and change it from 2EM to 2.5EM. So it's just got slightly bigger. I also want to add one more thing, which is a little bit of padding, a bit of extra padding around this header, and I'm going to make it 25 pixels. Okay, so now when our screen is bigger than 480 pixels, everything's going to be the same except our header, which gets slightly larger. If I save that and have a preview. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so our screen's set up for a mobile size here, still, like a mobile phone. To get it up to tablet size, I'll just have to stretch it out a little bit. Keep an eye on this header, and you'll see it gets slightly bigger. I think it just did get bigger, so if I go back the other way, watch it get slightly smaller and it gets to the size of a mobile phone screen now. Okay, so that's about 480 pixels width, and as I go bigger than 480 pixels, my header just gets a little bit larger there. Okay, so that's the first change we've made. Something else we want to do is just adjust how the picture looks. So back inside these two curly braces, I'm just going to go below the other one actually and just write IMG. We're just going to adjust our image and set its max width to 50% of the screen size. Okay, originally it had the max width of 85%. I don't want that anymore. I want to keep it a little bit smaller now that the screen's getting bigger. So 50%. If I save that now, where's our picture? Down here it's quite little. As it gets bigger, bigger and bigger, it's still looking quite nice as we go along. Okay, so that's working how I wanted it to. Back over here, one last thing we're going to change. Probably the subheading down here, the track listing. Let's just make it ever so slightly larger. So I'm going to write dot tracks, open up my curly braces and just change the font size to 1.25 EM. So ever so slightly, it was originally 1 EM, so I'll just get a little bit larger, as you can see now with the change of screen size. When I make it smaller, you might notice it just drop a little bit in size down at the mobile phone screen size. Anything bigger than 480 pixels, it just gets a little bit larger, just like that. Alrighty, so that's our tablet formatting all done. They're the only 3 changes we wanted to make, so there wasn't much to it. The last bit of formatting we have to do is cater for desktop computers or laptops, so the larger screen sizes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just go down and I'm going to do another comment. So do a / and a asterisk, and I'm going to get you to write desktop formatting. So everything below this comment, oops, is going to be changes made to the desktop view. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is something similar to before. We're going to do the @ symbol and write media, screen, and in brackets, write min-width. So the minimum size screen now we want to work with is 768 pixels or larger. So we've got 768 pixels. That's generally the size of a tablet screen, okay, or like an iPad. So anything bigger than that, we want to change how it looks. Okay, so we're going to go down and open up some curly braces. Okay, inside those curly braces, first thing we want to change again is the header. We're going to make it even bigger this time. So write in the word header, and on the next line open up some curly braces. This time we're going to just change the font size to 3 EM. So that's now 3 times its normal size. And we might just add a little bit of extra padding in as well. This time at 30 pixels instead of 25 pixels. Okay, so let's save that and have a look. We should see our heading change 3 times now. Okay, so down at the mobile phone screen size, it starts at 1 EM. As we go up to the tablet size, you'll notice it get a little bit larger just there. And as we keep stretching this screen out, and when we get to desktop view, there it is again. It just grew a little bit larger. I know that's very hard to see because they are small changes, but test it out on your computer and you will notice a slight change in the size of your font. It does get a little bit bigger the more you stretch that window out. Okay, so back to our style sheet now. Next thing we're going to style up is the image. Okay, so write in the IMG tag and open up your curly braces. This time I'm going to change the max width again of the picture. You don't have to use a percentage. Okay, it's up in the tablet section. We told the picture to be 50% of the screen size at the most. What you can do is use pixels if you want. Okay, so I'm going to change this one to 400 pixels as the max width. If it gets any larger than 400 pixels, it's just going to try and stop there. Okay, it won't go any larger than 400 pixels. I also want the text to wrap around this picture now. Now that our screen's getting bigger, we've got a lot of empty space. Okay, we're going to try and get this track listing to pop up on the left and have the picture on the right. So the way we do that is just float and then right. That's going to push our picture to the right hand side of the page and have the text wrap around it. And the last thing we want to do is just put some padding on the image, and we'll put about 20 pixels. That'll just give it a bit of room to breathe so the text doesn't run over the top of it. Okay, so in desktop view we should have an image floating on the right now, which we do. Okay, so you can see the text now wraps around the picture. We've got a little bit of breathing room, 20 pixels from the edge of the page. As I make this smaller, you'll notice that the picture loses its right alignment and goes back to the center. That's the tablet view, and same with the mobile view. Okay, it's just in desktop view that our picture moves over to the right hand side of the page to fill in this big empty gap. Okay, so still going. We do want to style up a few more things. The dot tracks subheader, so that's the track listing subheader. We just want to make it even a little bit bigger than before. So last time the font size was 1.25. This time we're going to make it 1.5 EM. Okay, so that red subheader here just got a little bit larger. So that's looking good. Actually, that will probably do us. I think we've got everything done now, so just delete a few extra lines here which I don't need. Okay, so we've got our desktop formatting done. Let's change the header, image and the subheading tracks sizes. Same for the tablet formatting, just there. And the rest of the formatting is for the mobile device. Okay, so I'm just going to save that. Make sure your page looks something similar to mine. Okay, I'll just click off everything for a sec so that blue border doesn't appear. There we go. So you should have a nice big heading at the top, bit of information, track listing, yep, a link. Pops up in a new tab, that works fine. Make sure when you resize your browser too that things begin to change. Okay, it should still look good. By all means should look good, the formatting should be fine. It's just when we resize it, we just try and make it a little bit easier to read for people. So we push that picture into the middle. Text gets a little bit smaller as it goes down to that smaller screen size. We don't need it quite as large. And eventually we get down to our mobile phone size, which is around there. That looks pretty good. Okay, so there is your responsive web page all done.